Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2003 movie Leprechaun Back to the Hood. This is the 6th movie in the Leprechaun franchise, and the last one to star Warwick Davis. And in this one, a group of young adults find Leprechaun's chest of gold that had been buried in this place, and they take it and to make themselves rich and everything. And Leprechaun had been dragged to hell a little bit earlier in the movie, explaining like what had happened to him, and he comes back from hell and he starts going and killing anybody who gets in his way, trying to get his gold back. Pretty much what you would expect from a Leprechaun movie. This one was pretty decent. All of the main characters, for the most part, were likable. There was one of them that wasn't real likable, but he kind of redeems himself in the end and everything. But this was actually a pretty decent movie. It felt like it had a darker tone, and it wasn't as much of it didn't have as much of the humor and stuff as some of the other ones did, although it did have some humor. Like, there's a part where Leprechaun gets high and like he can barely walk and everything. It's kind of funny, but for the most part, the humor in this is toned down a little bit compared to a lot of the other movies in the series, and I think it was a little bit more entertaining because of that. The kills still were not like the best, but it did have a few good ones. Personally, I think that the last Leprechaun movie that I reviewed yesterday, Leprechaun in the Hood, had better kills, but this one had some pretty decent ones, and the cinematography in here was pretty good too. I think it was one of the ones that had better cinematography. But I also liked a lot that they kind of go a little bit into the origins of the leprechauns and stuff in this movie. We kind of get to see a little bit of like where they come from and how he has his powers and why he always is trying to protect the gold and everything. I thought that was really cool too. I don't think that he's like one of the best villain or horror movie villains, but it was still interesting getting to hear or see his story. But yeah, this is a decent movie. And all of the cast in here are all pretty decent. There is a little bit of cringy acting though, like in parts where characters die and their friends are crying and stuff. Like, the acting is a little cringy and everything, but for the most part it's not that bad. And there was one part though that made me cringe really bad, when he pulls this lady's golden tooth out. We don't really see it, but it's just the thought of it, like, because if you've ever had to have a tooth pulled, you know, like, how bad that hurts and everything. And we didn't see it, but we saw a little bit of the aftermath, like her jaw. He yanked her jaw out of her mouth and everything. It was pretty gruesome. It could have been a lot more gruesome though, but it was still pretty cool. And I think that the makeup and stuff on Warwick Davis was just as good as it's been in all of the movies, and personally I think he's good as the Leprechaun. And there were parts where he was really funny, like I said, mainly in the scenes like where he's getting high and stuff. Those were the main parts that I thought were real funny. But this was a decent one, and he actually felt intimidating for once. Like, even though he did have his jokes a little bit and everything, he actually felt like he was intimidating. He wasn't just walking around doing his rhymes and stuff like he does in most of the other movies. And I thought this was a better portrayal of the character. But so I'd say I'd give Leprechaun Back to the Hood a 7.5 out of 10. It's not a great movie, but it's a fun movie, and one of the better movies in the franchise, personally, to me. But let me know in the comments what you think of Leprechaun Back to the Hood, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll have my review out for Leprechaun Origins maybe later tonight. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one, because I'm curious to see what it's like. I've heard that it's more of a horror movie than a comedy and everything, so that one I'm really interested in seeing what it's like. But let me know in the comments what you think of this movie, and thank you all, and have a good day.
This is the song that doesn't end. Oh, no. Yes, it goes on and on, my friend.
That's enough, guys.
Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll continue singing it forever just because this is the song that doesn't end.
How do I turn you on?